This video continues from the previous one. Okay, in this video, I want to talk about the process for making decisions about how you're going to shoot a series of documentary photos. Sometimes one photo is really powerful and it's enough to tell a story. There are some in the PowerPoints and Blackboard. I just very quickly want to talk about so Kevin Carter, this is Kevin, is he is no more, and I'll explain that in a minute. Come on, it's not going to let me zoom in any further. I was hoping to get a better image of it than that. This one's pretty iconic. Most people have seen this photo of a dying child and a vulture. Kevin Carter is a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer in South Africa, and he went to the Sudan, and there were these horrible scenes of famine, and apparently there was a family walking to get food. They're going to a place where there was some food, and the child fell down, and as she did, a vulture landed near her, and just created this heartbreaking image, just painful to look at. And so Kevin Carter captured it, and he won Pulitzer Prize for that photo, and he's got many others that he shot along the line. And after it was published and he won the Pulitzer, people began to ask him, after you took the picture, what did you do? And he actually did nothing. And there's this big debate amongst photographers whether or not you intervene, because often wildlife photographers will see an animal in distress. What do you do? In this case, what did he do to help this child? And he did nothing, because he believed that he shouldn't intervene, that his job was to document what was going on around him. And there was a very large public outcry because he didn't do anything. And he ended up killing himself. That's probably a better image of him right there. And because of the guilt that got to him, because he began to realize, maybe I should have done something. And that's maybe one of the more extreme versions of documentary photography. However, his image brought awareness to the world that this was happening. Most people don't visit the Sudan. Most people don't make vacation plans to go to the Sudan. Kevin Carter went there knowing that he was going to be able to document an experience that he experienced through his eyes, to show other people what was going on there, with the hope that they would get involved, right? Well, what did he do? Well, what did the people seeing the photos do? And that is sometimes the main goal of documentary, is to get people involved, to show them what's going on, to present these horrible images. I am friends of a friend who does a lot of documentary photography, and she suffers some horrible depression because she documents these very horrible situations that she does with the intent of making the world aware that they exist, to get people involved. But seeing it and then maybe not doing anything afterwards, it takes a toll on her. And so she began to become more of an activist rather than just a documenter, and began to get involved, and ultimately got arrested for some of her involvement. So it's something we could debate, ethics issue that we could debate, whether a photographer should get involved or not. But that probably, it could be a whole class in and of itself. So here's something I documented for friends of mine. They had a big group of people, a big group of friends of mine, went to a farm animal rescue sanctuary and did some volunteer work. And they wanted to document it so they could put it on their website, and I took the photos for them for free. And so what I had to do when I was starting, or when I agreed to do this, I had to think about, what is the story I'm telling? if someone is paying you to do work for them, you are telling their story. You need them to tell you what you're supposed to be telling, right? I did this for free, but nonetheless, I wanted my friends to be able to use these photos to promote their organization. And so I asked them, what do you want? What do you want these photos to communicate? What do you want these photos to document? And they told me they wanted people to see that this was what the organization, what the organization does in the first place. And that secondly, they wanted people to see how much fun it is to get involved. And so that was my main focus. I wanted to show people interacting with the animals who lived in the sanctuary and show that they were having a great time, that they were making new friends, and it was just really this great communal experience for them while they were cleaning chicken poop. And so here I'm just going to show you a series of the photos. And I actually, to be honest, I haven't looked at my friend's website to see which ones they picked. But I gave them all these photos that just showed people interacting with the animals in the sanctuary. Or, like in this case, I took his photo and there are people in the background working. And so you see, I took multiple photos. I actually like the first one better, but the more photos you take, the more you have to pick from, and the better the odds are that you get it right. So I have numerous photos here of Julie interacting with Hector, I think his name is. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. It's been a couple of years. And so to allow them to choose which of the photos they felt was best for what they wanted to do. And there she is with sheep. That you just followed us everywhere we went after that. And then I would be standing there and she'd take her foot and she'd tap on my foot with her hoof. Like, pet me, pet me. It was great. Sarita painting the chicken coop. And so in all these instances, I wanted to show people engaged in the activity, as well as, you see the better photos are the ones that have the animals in them. See, now those are kind of whatever. But the ones are, then here are a line of pigs waiting for Julie to scratch their heads. So she didn't get any work done. Oh, somebody has food. They were getting in the way. But that makes a great photo, right? I mean, this photo is way more interesting than that photo. Here, a couple of guys raking some dirt. Who cares, right? I mean, it's not interesting. It's not even that great of a photo. But there we are with the chickens are now, he's raking the ground for the chickens, and the pigs coming over investigating, and the chickens decide they're going to have a lunch break in the way. And it's a better story. It's more interesting. It's humorous, because documentary doesn't have to be depressing. It can be humorous. A lot of people cleaning, which is not very interesting. The best ones are the ones with the animals. Now, I want to talk very quickly about composition. As much as possible, if you have a subject and something in the foreground, you have something going on in the middle ground, and then you have an interesting background, it makes for a better photograph. See how I positioned these across the photo? Your eye leads back across the scene. And this poor little piggy, sad story. But I won't tell you guys that one. I already And he was very timid, and she was able to give him an apple, and he took it from her hand. And the woman who runs the sanctuary was saying how heartwarming it was to see the pig take food from a stranger, because she was horribly afraid of people, or he, afraid, I'm sorry, I don't remember. And then in the background, of course, the horse. This horse followed us around the whole time and kept interrupting the work. We kept wanting to be pet. And that's another really great shot. I took a gazillion photos. I swear, I think, I'm trying to remember how many I took. I probably took 500 photos. And so what I would do is I would see something about to happen. Like, I saw him pull out the banana, and I was like, you're going to feed that to somebody. And he said, I am. And I was like, okay. So I got into position, and I started taking shots as he moved through. And so I had a lot of really bad ones. And then I got the perfect moment when the pig took the banana from his hand. I didn't just take one picture. Oh, and this one, he started over here, and as he was walking towards me, I kept taking pictures until I got one that I thought was better than the others. Probably took 20 pictures of him walking across the yard towards me. He came over to check me out. He thought I had food. The ducks checking out their new bedding. And then in the end, Sarita made samosas, and everybody had lunch. And so you see how that series of photos tells a story that my friends could then use to help promote their organization. So when you're thinking about what you're going to shoot, think about stories.